Is my volume okay? Are we ready to get started?
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah, it's not quiet anymore.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
I will fucking kill you. Okay, guys. Let's get started. On that note, sorry about that. I was like, am I going crazy? Am I just being ignored? I was being ignored, as it turns out. I was in fact talking to myself for an undetermined amount of time. Yeah, I was like, it's not quiet. I'm talking. And then I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm not talking. Okay. Anyway, community meeting. Hi guys. This will be pretty short. Goal is to keep it very much under an hour. We will have a little bit of time for questions at the end, but I will not be here for more than an hour because it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday and we all have things to do.
It is Wednesday, my
So
dude.
we're gonna start with some fun statistics. Everybody loves statistics. We've done 73 whitelists as of last night. These are what the faction numbers are currently sitting at. We've opened about 180 tickets so far this season, just in case you're wondering how things are going on the back end. So if we are quiet in a ticket, please just ping us. We're in ping hell right now. It may have just fallen through the tracks. Please do not be afraid to just add an admin if we're in a ticket with you. Because we have a lot of tickets right now and we don't want anyone to feel like we're ignoring them. Fun little info on humans. Those are the current humans and their blood percentages. Everybody point and laugh at the person who rolled a 3%. But yep, those are the humans. Their starting blood percentages. Just because a couple people have asked what they're looking like, what the faction numbers are looking like, here they are for your perusal. I saw someone ask whether we're recording. Yes, I'm recording. I will upload this to our YouTube sometime, probably tonight, maybe early tomorrow. We'll find out. So yeah, there's our thing. We got 24 humans. Woo! We will be touching on some reminders and some of the rule changes that are specific to the season and just rule changes going forward. So, starting with that, remember the faction map. Every faction has 10 plots that are theirs. If you are factionless, you may not settle there. If you are in a faction, you must settle there for the first 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks have passed, we will give an announcement, hey, restrictions on plots have been lifted. You are welcome to live anywhere. You cannot siege for a hub or a dungeon plot unless the people involved in that are cool with that. So please open a warbat about it and we'll talk about it. But yes, for the first 2 weeks, no sieges. None of that shenanigans.
To clarify,
sure.
you open a ticket for a warbat. You don't open a warbat.
Open a ticket. Yeah. Sorry, open a ticket for a warbat. But you may not siege for any of the faction plots for the first 2 weeks. So if you really, really want to live in this corner of the Cursed Forest, you can't warbat about it for 2 weeks. But you can warbat about it once we've opened up the plot restrictions. But yeah, make sure you're staying to your area. I do think it's hilarious that everyone avoided Farbane like it was the plague. So we're going to have a very empty, low-level area.
Living in Farbane sucks.
What? Farbane, my beloved.
So, the people cannot just kick you from your plots. No, they have to challenge you to a warbat, and you have to agree to the terms. If you do not agree to the terms, nobody can force you to give up your house. If you have concerns about warbats, if you don't understand them, feel free to open a ticket and we can explain it to you. So, because of the faction resource locks, we are really going to be heavily encouraging / enforcing you to stay in your sigils. Stay in your factions at the very least. You can bounce around in your faction between sigils if you'd like, but please do not join the sigils of other factions. If you're, joining them for an event, you need to temporarily join up with another faction because you're fighting Solaris on the road. That's fine. Please don't touch other people's workstations. If you are, in the Shepherds and you accidentally touch an Oak Song workstation and now you have access to Ben's cloak recipe, the way that we have to fix you is we have to essentially delete your character and then summon you in all the bosses for you to resmite. And it's a giant pain in the butt. So please do not touch workbenches that do not belong to your faction. If we catch you with recipes that you should not have, and it seems like you were doing espionage to steal faction recipes, you're going to get bonked. It's not something we're going to allow. So please make sure that you are not touching workbenches for factions and sigils that are not your own. You've never been allowed to share knowledge between sigils, so make sure that you are being a good egg and not doing that. We are changing the day-night cycle to be a little longer. It is now going to be an hour. Days will be 20 minutes, nights will be 40 minutes. So just a heads up on that. We may adjust it a little bit depending on how it feels, but we wanted the human sun thing and vulnerability to feel relevant, you know, so days aren't just 10 minutes. You can no longer find perfect horses in the wild, by the way, if you didn't know. So please do not run around touching 900 horses in an attempt to find a perfect one. You just need to go kill horse guy and then stable your horse better. Please do not hunt horses. Please.
It's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing. You don't need to go around naming them glue. Just pick a horse, use a horse. Go forth. Go forth. Please use the stable. If we catch you touching 500 horses, we're gonna be mad. Please don't. I'm just gonna real quickly go over a couple of the other rule changes. These are all changes that were listed in the changelog, but just to make sure everyone has heard them, because they're major. As you all know from those of you that have whitelisted, you can now hear through walls. Hearing distance will be smaller, so you cannot hear people from 900 yards away, but you can hear people through walls now. So if you are having a super secret meeting, maybe don't do it on the first floor where everyone and their mom can walk by and hear you plotting to murder the emperor. Just a tip. So, you know, keep that in mind. Go forth, do your spy RP. This is just to, you know, it'll make events easier, and it'll make it talking in your castles easier, and spy RP will be a thing now. That's fun. Woo.
I can't believe you gave away the presence of the Emperor.
I know. I'm a villain out here. Humans cannot use bloodbend, and they cannot use blood magic. Don't do that. We do not want to take your contracts away. Please behave. Friendly reminder that if you are caught maliciously breaking your contract, it may make it so that you cannot be eligible for a contract for the rest of the season or next season. If you are naughty with malice, you do not get to play with the fun toys that are contracts, okay? So please behave. Please don't use blood magic. Please swap your spells as soon as you're able, so even if you're not using magic, so you don't accidentally throw a shadow bolt of crime at somebody. Do not bag guard humans. That is something that people were very passionate about, so we will be implementing as a rule for this season. So if you down a human, throat rip them, you leave their bag under the assumption that they are dead or dying. This gives people the opportunity to have that medical RP, all that good stuff. If you're caught bag guarding, you will get vonked about it. So please don't bag guard the humans. Waygates are not going to be available from day one. They are something that you will unlock over the course of RP and through interacting with the admin story. And I'm talking specifically about the teleporters in game. So you cannot use teleporters in game from the jump. That's something that you'll have to unlock. You may also lose the ability to use them later in the season, depending on how the plot goes, just as a heads up. But we're going to have Waygates be cool, fun plot things. Look forward to that. The Waygates channel, because of the feedback that we had from our earlier community poll, will be given a slow mode. We were tied 50-50 between a 5-minute slow mode and a 30-minute slow mode. So we'll be doing middle ground. We'll be instituting a 15-minute slow mode on Waygate posts. So there's that. Because people are sick of the spam. So if you are planning a war, or you are, intending to do like a fight with somebody and it is pre-planned, you are still limited to 8v8 just for the sake of lag. But if something happens in the spur of the moment, it's kind of bad RP to be like, hey, sorry, I know that you're getting stabbed in front of me, my best friend, but there's already 8 of us fighting them. I can't jump in because there's already 8 of us fighting them. So If something happens spur of the moment, if your faction is getting into a brawl with another faction and there are more than 8 of you there, you are all welcome to jump in. We are not going to be limiting PvP unless you are specifically going out as like a hunting party, or if it's a pre-planned fight just for the sake of like lag, because things get way out of hand if there's more than like 20 people fighting at once. But if something happens and the entire factions are present, you may get into a 20 versus 20 brawl. That's fine. You're allowed.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Picking a fight on someone's home on front lawn, don't be surprised when the doors open and 20 guys pour out.
Yep, exactly. So, it's just better RP. No more silly warbats. That was something that we had as a, that was also the community poll. People don't want them anymore. So, if you declare a warbat, it is now war. It should be treated with the gravity as such. No more silly warbats. It's only intended for, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be PvP, but it does have to be a, like a serious issue. It's got to be, serious stuff only, because that's what people voted for. That's what the people wanted. So, and then coordination tickets do need to be fleshed out a little bit more before you submit them. We're not going to build events for you. We're happy to help if you need a little bit of guidance, but we do want you to come to the table with more than we've been requiring people. You can still do silly warbats, just do them in the bats channel. You just don't need to open a ticket for them, If you don't need admin oversight for it, there's no reason for you to open a ticket anyway. Just challenge someone to a drinking contest via a letter. The other big rule change that I forgot to put on this slide last night, because my brain is potatoes, is that we've made a change to the decayed castle raiding rule. So this is a big one. In the past, if a castle was decaying, you were able to break down the doors, run inside, rob the place blind, and leave. You can still do that, but now we are requiring you to at the person that you robbed in documents or in rumors. You have to leave behind proof that you were the person who robbed them. We're doing this because last season, frankly, we had like 4 new people get robbed their first 2 weeks of playing and leave forever. We're an RP first community. And so, if you're robbing somebody's house without the intention of getting RP from it, you're just kind of a dick. Not to be blunt, but to be blunt. It doesn't serve any purpose. We've always said that we're an RP first community. So if you're doing something that's going to potentially ruin another player's day and they're not going to get RP out of it, there is no point. So you must leave behind some sort of proof. If you do not, and we catch you raiding decayed castles and not leaving any note behind, we will treat it with the same severity as an offline raiding offense. We are going to take that very seriously. There is no excuse not to know. You must leave behind something. Thank you. Moving on. This is our castle tile information for the season. It's the same as last season, except now you get 5 floors. Woo! So 50, 3 floors, 200, 3 floors, 350, 4 floors, 450, you can read, I'm sure. It's on there. We will post it. 4 vermin nests, 20 jails, 4 graves. Vermin nests are such a source of lag. I'm sorry, you only get 4. So, yep, there's your castle specs. We will post that in the stuff. Yep, we're only doing 450. There's your stuff. You get 5 floors. Woo!
But Naku, how many Stygian circles do we get? I want so many.
We get. I'm 1. I'm
One.
pretty sure.
Oh, hey, hold on. Before we move past this, I see some concerns about the floor size. I would like to bring up a lot of the reason why we're having lower tile counts is due to free build structures. We're just a little worried about lag and how everything's going to interact. If everything is stable, we could potentially see an increase down the line. It's a lot easier to raise it than it is to decrease it.
Yep.
Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Especially with the changes to horses. Horses, as you all historically know, has been the greatest source of server grief and lag. So with the horse model changing and the fact that there's no horse hunting, there's a very good chance that the server could be way more stable. And with stables, it'll be more stable. So we may be able to raise the limits a little bit, but we want to see how it runs on the lower end, just in case it's not that much better. Because we'd rather the server be stable than everybody have, giant laggy monstrosities.
If you really do find yourself struggling with the tile count, I do have some advice in the Builder's Workshop under our workshop recordings that can tell you how to get a little bit of extra mileage out of your tile count.
He's a wizard. All right. So, moving right along, I do want to touch on another new thing that the admin team will be doing this season, and kind of in that talk a little bit about our philosophy for the admin story this season. So, some of the most consistent feedback that we got last season was that people felt that they weren't really able to affect the pacing of the admin story in a meaningful way, which I think is fair because, we had, events were scheduled on very specific days at specific times, and if you wanted to change the story in a major way, you couldn't do so until that event. So we're going in the other extreme this season. This season's admin story is going to be very reactionary. We're introducing something on the back end that we're calling a scale system, where basically every single time players interact with, an NPC or an event or the world, every time you do research, you're going to be adding points to buckets that are different things. And then admin events will trigger when you hit certain thresholds. So if you fill up bucket A to 25 points, you're going to get an admin event as a response. Because of that, the admin events will not appear on the calendar until likely just a little bit before. Sometimes it'll be a week, sometimes it'll be just a couple of days, sometimes it'll be the day before. So make sure you're keeping an idea, your gaze on the event calendar. We are going to have a much, much heavier emphasis on pop-up events this season as well. We've got some dedicated girlies that won't be having player characters and will just be doing pop-up events. So we'll be doing a very pop-up heavy season. Because we want the world to feel interactable, we also want to make changes to admin structures mid-season. So the way that our free build mod works makes it kind of dangerous, because Dracula sucks. So I'm just gonna go over this real fast. So when we do a free build, we search for keywords and add them to a palette, and then we have to literally scroll through that palette of objects where it summons them all in for 2 seconds, and then we can place them or discard them. If we accidentally summon the version of Dracula's throne that has Dracula on it, an unkillable, unsmiteable Dracula will forever be floating in the sky, and he will kill you, but you can't attack him, and he's just there forever. So when we do build stuff, we have to be very, very careful. So what we don't want to have happen is if we are trying to build something and then somebody accidentally toggles by Dracula, we are going to have to roll the server back to whenever the last backup was. So when we make changes to the admin structures, so if you destroy an admin structure and it's going to be gone, we're going to take the server down for a little bit so that we can do changes to free build. So we don't want free build to be on the live server. So we will every once in a while be bringing the server down for a day to make changes to the builds. This means this will give us the ability to add a bunch of new admin structures. This will give us the ability to get rid of a bunch of admin structures to really make the world feel like you're interacting with it. We want your actions to have consequences. So if you go certain routes with the admin story, the world is going to change a lot. It is going to be very, because unfortunately this season is very reactionary with events, we can't give you a list right now of when the build days will be. I do know the first one is likely going to be the week of July 8th, because there's some stuff that we need to get rid of once Oakvale opens. But other than that, I cannot say until the events have happened. We will always give you at least 24 hours notice. And we will always do it on a weekday. We're not going to take a Saturday or a Sunday of RP away from you. But in order for us to facilitate like new admin structures and stuff, we will be taking the server temporarily offline so we can tweak things, build things, and all that good stuff. So that's something that we're instituting. We will try to give you as much warning as possible. We'll try to avoid player events as much as we can. But, if we get later into the season where there's literally 20 player events a day and we have to do, a build, we may ask you to be flexible. So, please work with us so that we can, do those builds. You guys have a day off, go touch grass. Yeah. Those rest days. But yeah, so we're going to do those build days so we can really make the server feel alive and feel like you're impacting and changing the world. It'll be fun. So this is the schedule for Season 1. We'll be starting on the 21st. Quincy will unlock on the 22nd, so he will unlock on Sunday. We're starting next Saturday. Maja and Leandra will unlock the Saturday after that. And then the first week of July, Oakville will unlock on Saturday. Plot restrictions will end, and then you will be able to leave or swap factions. One thing that I wanted to touch on right here with leaving or swapping factions on an existing character is that you must do so through organic RP. So if your name is, Joe, and you start the season in the Shepherds, and you decide 2 weeks in, hey, Joe's not really vibing with the cult, but those weird hippies in the woods, Joe belongs there. Those are his people. If you're still playing Joe, you need to, in character, leave the Shepherds, and in character, join the Oak Song. You have to do so through RP, and you cannot force them to accept your character unless it's, through organic RP. So, if you're doing a mid-season switch, you need to do the RP to explain that switch. You can't just be like, hello, yes, I'm an Oak Song now. You gotta go talk to the Oak Song people and be like, hello, my name is Joe. I would like to be a hippie in the woods. So there's that. That said, let's say different situation. You are playing a human. You perma 4 weeks in, and you decide rather than turning into a vampire, you would like to roll a new character. You want to roll your character into Aegis. That's fine. We will pull you into a ticket with the faction leadership and kind of work out a reason for your character to be a late join. So if it's a fresh character, you may join a faction from the jump and be like, yes, I've been here the whole time. I was just getting the mail in Frankelberg. That's fine. But if you are an existing character that has been on the server, you start factionless, you decide you want to join a faction, you got to do so through existing RP. Only new characters can do a shoe-in through their whitelist. So I hope that makes sense. You are allowed to have characters in 2 different factions if you have an alt, but you will only have access to one faction's chat. That is for the sake of accidental meta. Basically, you get to put all of your eggs in one story basket and not the other. You can be along for the ride, but if you have an alt, you don't get to have access to the behind the curtains of both factions. Moving on with the schedule, Black Rue and Cyril. That the next weekend after that is Adam and Nagara. Weekend after that is Styx, Telzar, and Solaris. Weekend after that is Dracula. And then August 9th is Shards. So we're going to have boss unlocks every weekend until the 9th. The Shard bosses, you may notice, start unlocking on the 19th of July. But the Shards themselves do not become available until August 9th. This is by design. So the first couple weeks that shard bosses are available, they're not going to drop their shards. The shards will be their own event. On August 23rd, the faction resource bosses, which are Kastrina, Falrat, Azariel, and Ben, will become unlocked, and then on September 21st, the season will end. So that gives us pretty much exactly 3 months. That's the schedule. Woo!
Woo!
And again, we will be posting that somewhere publicly, easy, accessible, all that good stuff. And then I believe Mr. Ghoul is going to go over some of the mods that we're using for the season.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna finish eating what I'm eating. Next 2 seconds.
Okay, while he's eating, if I catch one of you with 200 hours in less than a week, I'm temporarily banning you for 2 days. Just getting that out of the way.
Pace yourselves.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So we will have kindred schematics. This is mainly for admin side. This is the overworld buildings, secret things in the world, structures, date spots, etc., etc. Well, that's that. We are gonna use Bloodcraft again. We are gonna use professions again. The mod developer has fixed the holy resistance issue that we had with alchemy and the other potions, but it's just a fun little thing that we can add to your characters if you want to specialize in a certain job, essentially. We're going to use 4 spells. With that, we're going to introduce also the weapon mastery, because those 2 are connected, sadly. But we will not have bloodlines. Bloodlines will not be available. Also, no familiars for the people that are familiar with Bloodcraft. It's going to be professions, force spells, weapon mastery. And we are currently testing a mod called V-Rolls, which will essentially give EVs, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but they give the permission to do certain commands to help with events.
Yep.
So we have to do less on the admin side with events, and it can be fully guided by EVs. And I saw a question with a ping. No, alchemy is not gone, but the mod developer fully tweaked it. Essentially, the holy resistance, you cannot go over that threshold anymore. And I believe it only increases the duration, not the power, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that. And then, of course, we have kindred commands, but that's all admin side. And that's about it.
Frank, did you want to talk about the other EV change while we're here?
Yes. So I have a really awesome one that some of you may have seen before. I've talked about it in the past. But I'm very excited to talk about how we will now have EVs available as potential castle defenders. And like, say you're in a an uneven number situation. You've got, let's say 8 guys attacking 2 people. We will now have up to, the number going against you as EVs that can assist you. The actual stats on this still need to be a little tweaked and everything, but the idea is to make it so, you're not completely screwed if you're just a solo player or, a duo player and you've got an 8-man sigil coming down on top of you, because that's not fun for anyone. And this way it allows EVs to, get a little bit more action, and players can also interact with all the warbat features that previously they may not have been too willing to do due to their numbers. Now, you will not be able to pick who your EV defenders are. It will be a first come, first serve type basis. But, the whole idea is so everyone can have fun with these sieges in equal numbers and not just be completely screwed, like I said. So that's really all to talk about that. We'll have some more info about it soon. I believe we want to talk about our winners next.
We're gonna talk about unique mechanics real fast.
Oh, sure.
So I went a little bit ahead because Mr. Ghoul mentioned EVs, and I was like, oh, perfect. Let's talk about it right now.
Why not?
So I wanted to briefly touch on this season 1 unique mechanics. So one of the other things of feedback we got last season was people being frustrated that plots that they wanted were tied up with admin structures, because we had a lot of admin structures last season. We will also have a lot of admin structures this season. So we just want to let you know that admin structures will, by and large, not be permanent. They're going to be, like, dying a painful death. So if you clear a dungeon, it's going to crumble into the earths, never to be seen again. Dungeons will vary. There will be major dungeons, which may take up to 2 months to clear, and there will be minor dungeons, which you may do in a single afternoon. It's just going to depend on the dungeon. You won't know until you get inside. Yep, if you beat certain dungeons, you will loot them, and then they will fall apart, and you will be kicked out, and the plot will empty as the admins smite the heart into oblivion. And some of the events, or some of the dungeon events may last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months. Angram is available day 1, yes. So the other thing about dungeons is that specifically those of you that are in a faction, the faction dungeons are supposed to last like a month and a half to 2 months. Please do not get mad, because they're going to be a little time gated to ensure for story purposes that nobody can get to the bottom on day 1. We'll do our very best to make that feel like it's, an organic thing, but do not expect to clear your faction dungeon in a week. It's not going to happen. They are meant to be enjoyed slowly. Because Oakvale is the new content, we also this season really wanted to do a focus on the Oakvale invasion. So the first 2 weeks of the season are going to be heavily focused on Oakvale stuff. When Oakvale opens up, the plots are going to have castles on them. You may warbat these castles, but in order to live there, you must beat them. You must win the siege. The sieges will vary in difficulty, But in order to claim and move into the Oakvale plots, you are going to have to kick out the Venom Blades that are currently living there. So it'll be fun. We're looking forward to it. It'll be a good time. Look forward to that. But that's just something to be on your radar. So do not expect to bum rush Oakvale plots week 2 when they get up. It'll be whoever is initiating the siege, Ev. That's a good question. So if you are the first person to challenge a warbat, it is your warbat. You are the person that gets the plot when it is won. So the warbats are first come, first serve. If someone else has a warbat out against a castle, you cannot warbat that particular plot unless they fail. Just a heads up, some of these sieges are going to be easy. Some of them are going to be very, very hard.
Hey, Naku.
Yeah.
Someone's sieging a Venom Blade Oakvale plot that I want. Can I sabotage their warbat?
No, I don't think you can. Sorry, bestie.
Damn. Oh well.
Oh well, there's lots of plots in Oakvale, and we don't have that many players this season, so I think it'll be okay. It's first come, first serve. Please don't snipe people's warbots. We will bonk you and give them the castle heart. It's whoever gets the warbat in first. So that's just something to keep in mind. I've seen people being like, yeah, we're going to move there. You know, the moment it opens, you're going to have to warbat about it. So keep that in mind. I see which faction, the faction that wants to move there. I see you. I know. You're going to have to warbat about it. Okay. Moving right along. Art contest winners. Woo!
Naku, people are asking about the cooldown of warbats.
Why is there random pink lines on this logo? Cooldown of warbats. You can issue a warbat to the same person a week after, right? It's a week? Week cooldown?
There you go.
Yep. I don't know why there's random lines on this. It's probably Canva fucking up. That is...
That is a Canva thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's Canva.
Thorn's asking, someone wins a Oakville siege. When can I siege them for it?
It's a week. It's a week, just like everything else. So you cannot, the rule has always been that you can't warbat for the same plot within a week. So that rule applies here. If they win it from the Venom Blades, you gotta wait a week before you can warbat them for their new plot. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, sorry about the random pink thing on your thing, Nabs. I would get rid of it, but this, my Canva unfortunately has my face in the corner, so we're not leaving this slide, because this is the last slide. So, sorry that there's random pink lines on your thing. That's going to be the new server icon. Everyone will see it. The other
Minus
two
the
will
pink.
be used. The other two will be used on our socials. The second place winner asked to stay anonymous, and the third place winner was Kassiria. Thank you, everyone who gave art for the contest. We had a lot of really good submissions. So thank you. We will use them in many things. If I win a plot in a warbat, can we keep the admin-built castle if it looks really nice? I'm going to say no, just because we don't want to unfairly give you access to resources. Speaking of resources from castles that you move into, a lot of the hub will be pre-built before the season starts. If you dismantle furniture for gold bars that are not yours, we will get mad. So please do not dismantle your hubs for their resources. If you strip them for gold, we will know and we will smack you about it.
I got you covered on that. The hubs are getting walls, flooring, wallpapers, base decorations. Players must furnish their own hubs.
Perfect. Okay. Good to know. There's that. All right. Yeah, come on. We can just trade. Don't strip the house down for the copper wires. Yes, you may absolutely change your hub. Your hub hearts will be owned likely by a member of your faction leadership. Your faction representatives are not necessarily your in-character leaders, but they are your out-of-character organizers. So I don't... Who the hub owner will be is up to the faction. I know that the Shepherds will be owned by Papa John. We totally fucking forgot about that one on this slide. Frank, go at him. Talk about it.
Oh, well, there was some talk about how are you going to get your unique resources for your factions? And what other way to do that other than these really cool caravans that you're going to need to ensure they get to their destination? You wouldn't want a very greedy competitor getting their hands on them, now would you? So yeah, yes, it is essentially an escort mission, but it is also an opportunity for you to acquire resources that your faction may not actually have access to. Because have it being completely locked out is not exactly an exciting thing. But this way, the only way to acquire resources is not just through holding hands. You can actually, as Jude put it, jump them and take their goods. So I just wanted to make sure that was thrown out there. You don't need to fight each other, but it's certainly an option if you would like.
Yeah, we'll have lots of ways for folks to get faction resources, just not too many. It'll be fun. We're trying new things. That's pretty much all official stuff from us. Was there anything else? Does anyone have any questions?
So, refusing warbats. You can refuse a warbat if the terms are unreasonable. However, you must make every attempt to compromise and engage in the warbat.
I will say, last season, I don't think we had a single warbat for a plot.
And the season before that, I think.
Yeah.
No, I still don't think I saw it the seasons before
Yeah.
that either.
I
have not seen a warbat for a plot the entire time I've played here. So
yeah, they're very uncommon. You cannot say no thanks. If you refuse a warbat, just refuse to engage, then whoever warbatted you you lose the warbat. You do have to engage in good faith. You can't use it to hinder RP, but please try not to worry about plot stealing. People tend to, even if they get their second or third choice, they tend to move in and then get attached to the space. So we haven't had a plot warbat in like seasons. This season it may happen just because people are really, really excited about Oakvale, but there are so many good plots in this game. So, and if you do get warbatted about it, you can hire mercenaries. So even if you're by yourself, numbers on the siege will at least be equal. And you don't have to, the warbat for the castle doesn't even have to be a siege. You can be like, no, I don't want a PvP. We're going to play chess. And then you play chess about it. That's one thing to remember, especially with our new players. So if you challenge someone to a formal declaration of war, while it is serious, the mode of war does not have to be PvP. You can challenge someone to hide and seek, to chess, to anything and everything, as long as everybody agrees to the terms.
I was a model in a fashion show and a hider in a hide and seek event for two very serious warbats.
Another thing I'd like to add is that the terms of the warbat, let's say you do go forward with a siege, you can just determine how the siege goes. Like, hey, I don't like banshees. Banshees suck. They're not fun. We agree no banshees? Cool, no banshees. Hey, I have 3 entrances to my plot. Let's only use the main entrance. Agreed? Cool. There's only one effective entrance to the plot now.
Obviously goes without saying, if you're caught breaking the terms of the warbat, it's an out
you lose the warbat
agreement. So if you decide to be sneaky and send in people through door number 2, you will lose the warbat and automatically just defunct. They will keep their castle.
So yeah, you can really be granular and modular with your terms of service. Have the warbat literally however you want it.
Warbat terms are decided by both parties. When you open a warbat, you open a ticket with the admin team. We pull the parties involved into the ticket, and then you discuss what the terms are.
If you can't come to a reasonable conclusion, we will step in and try and mediate as well to ensure that things are fair for both sides. As best as they can.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Someone asked before, if it's possible to lose to the NPCs over in Oakvale.
It is very
Yeah.
possible to lose
Yeah.
to the NPCs over in Oakvale. And if you lose to the NPCs over in Oakvale, castle warbat rules apply. So if, let's say, our gal, our pal Ruby here, she decides she's going to siege a Venom Blade place, you will open a ticket. We will have the warbat. You know, the terms will be set. It's 8v8. You will be versus 8 EVs or 8 admins pretending to be Venom Blades. And there's some other stuff. You raid the castle at the designated time and you lose. Nobody can warbat for that plot for another week. So,
And you better be careful. I'm allowed to go in with kid gloves off now for these events. I'm excited.
it'll be
Be
good.
scared.
Yeah, we're unleashing Greg on the populace.
So just be prepped, because the Venom Blades are going to do everything they can to keep their position in Oakvale. So these raids, some of them will be easy, a lot of them will be very hard. So just keep that in mind. Be prepped. Because they are, and you're not going to be able to, a lot of the Oakvale stuff there will be a couple that you don't have to do PvP for, but for some of them, they're like, nope, we're going to fight to the death about this, so sieges will be your only option. It depends on the castle. We don't have any plans right now to have the Venom Blades try and siege their homes back, but if that's something that people are interested in doing, yeah, I guess we can reverse warbat you, put in an event ticket. I'm sure we'd be down. We don't have any plans right now, but sure, if you're into that, open a ticket. We'll do a reverse robbery.
Yeah, honestly, I wish more people were willing to approach us about that kind of thing. Because I remember in season 7, the whole like Draculan sieges against the shard holders. I thought that was very fun and exciting. So I'd love to see more of that again. So if you are open to that kind of thing, make a ticket. We'll happily accommodate you, and we'll enjoy it too.
And
Hey,
the
Naku,
humans
can you
kicking us
scroll
out of
back
our
this
houses.
presentation to the unlock schedule? Thanks.
Luminance will have a very, there will be a lot of Lumens this season. There's going to be a lot of Oakvale. There's going to be a lot of stuff. We're going to do a lot of pop-ups. It'll be fun. Any other questions?
Oh yes, is Dashko allowed to win always?
No, he's stinky.
What the fuck?
Okay, I take a bath, I guess.
You can win if you warbat yourself, Dashko.
Is he allowed to have a
I'll-
clock?
Funny that you would say that. You all should pay attention to some of the world structures.
You motherfucker.
You son of a bitch.
I
Yeah,
can't believe
no.
you've done this.
I can confirm there are some really nice structures out there. Some of them have been vandalized with clocks.
If I see
Bro.
a circle of clocks with a
Um,
special bottle in the center, I will punch you.
If you would like to warbat the Venom Blades just to kick them out, that is also an option. You do not have to move into there.
Yeah, you can
but,
just
know,
throw hands for fun.
Absolutely. So if you're like, I don't want to move to Workvale. I don't want to Workvale. I'm so tired, guys. It was a long day. I don't want to move into Oakvale, but fuck those guys and fuck everything they stand for. You're welcome to go beat the shit out of them for shits and giggles. That said, if nobody moves into that plot, we do not guarantee that the Venom Blades won't go home to Megara, lick their wounds, and then come crawling back and retake over the plot. But yeah, you can go beat the shit out of them for profit and fun.
Can we warbat the clocks, and can the clocks warbat me? Who asked this?
If you want to, Robin, that's fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
That's the free market in action, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vermilion, yes and no. Because while they are able to refuse the terms of a warbat being PvP, you can also just throw hands in the overworld as long as you're engaging properly. So if someone calls you like a vampire slur, you can just stab them about it. Just make sure that you're following the PvP engagement rules, you know? People are not free of consequences. So if someone calls you, like, if you're a human and someone calls, if someone walks up to Ruby the human and says, fuck you, bloodbag, and she decides she's gonna stab you in the face about it, she's allowed to do that. So, you know.
And Ruby 100% will stab you in the face about it.
I think she's
She'll stab you in the face about it really hard.
She doesn't throw hands. Ruby doesn't like PvP.
Human,
Oh, not-
come inside. I have this lovely 1x1 room I'd like you to see. There's a fish inexplicably in the middle of the room. It is yours if you want.
Ooh. Alrighty. Anything else? Any other questions? Crystal's still going to exist, and how will that work?
The crystal experiment failed. Plain and simple. We're just not going to bring it back. I don't think anybody liked crystals, and I just, speaking as the server dragon that had a massive hoard of crystals, there wasn't really any reason to actually use crystals.
Oh my god, Donovan was right. Gold Sun supremacy.
Oh,
True. So true.
We're trying out faction resources. We're gonna see if trade RP can exist. We're trying.
I wanted to vouch for crystals, but we still ended up doing 50,000 Greater Stygian shards, which I give people the side eye over. There's not much we can do about it.
Yeah. Like, the economy will always be in the player's hands, regardless of what we put on the table. We just try and make it interesting.
Yes, there will be ways to get thistle seeds.
And then I thought I saw...
No, love cannot bloom on the RP field. Don't be a weirdo. Discuss boundaries out of character. Don't declare your love for somebody that you smooched in character. You fucking nasties.
Okay, I found a question about old charts. Are we having old charts?
Find out in character?
Yeah.
Find out in character.
As for a specific server setting, we are never doing plentiful shards again. I will tell you that. No. Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. I did want to touch on one other rule thing, and this is not a change. This is something that's always been a thing. I've said this before, but I'm saying it again just because I want to make sure everybody hears me. If we catch you ERPing in clan chat or in whispers or in the Shadow Realm in front of Dracula and God and everybody, we're going to give you a ban about it. We've had an issue before where we've been going through the logs, looking for things unrelated to this, and stumbled into people fucking in clan chat. We have not consented to seeing your porn. If I have to read your porn because you've decided to break the rule and not take it out of game, we will be banning you. We will be very, very serious of this. No second chances. Do not fucking ERP in game, I swear to God. Don't do it in whispers. Don't do it in clan chat. It's never not been a rule. Don't do it.
Yeah, and we've always been able to see it, but we're being a lot more serious this time. No more tainting our eyes. And please, God, don't let me log in, go to the Shadow Realm, and then I just see a couple inside each other, logged out for dramatic effect, I suppose. So they can watch each other with their alt accounts or something. I don't know. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm tired of it. I will ban you.
The one and only instance. Oh yeah, the one and only instance of you can RP on Discord in DMs. That one's on you. Just not here, please, please, please. Because frankly, some of you need Vampire Jesus.
Dracula, save us.
Save Dracula. He's seen too much.
Oh yeah.
Dracula's seen terrible things.
Poor Drac.
No wonder that guy attacks on site.
Oh, this is so true.
Literally every season, guys. We know about it. We know. We know, even if you really think we don't. Anyway, on that cheery note, does anyone have any other questions? If not, we'll end it there because we are creeping up on the hour mark. Any other questions from the peanut gallery? You cannot metagame.
Yes.
If you metagame, I'll literally kill you.
No, only Nessie specifically is allowed to metagame. I declare it such. That's so.
I don't think you have a game, Fergie, but you can certainly try.
If you meta ERP, I will send Steam support to your house.
We need a fire truck right now. That's a little much. That's Jesus.
The
Go ahead.
dates for the resource carriages will be announced ahead of time, but keep your eyes out to the Waygates.
Oh my god, I
Yes.
forgot one other thing. Sorry, guys. It's so hot in my office right now, and I didn't want to turn on the fan because then I would be in a wind tunnel and that's all you would hear. I just realized there's one other thing I forgot. So, in the next week, we are going to organize several smite parties for every faction. We're going to do it one faction at a time, where we're going to give you a time and a date, and you will have a temporary password to log into the server, specifically during that time and date, so we can yeet all of you to Admin Island, have you smite and sippy sip on your faction-specific boss, give you your capes, and then send you back to the crypts. So that way, because as you can see, we've whitelisted 60-something people, and we do not want to have to spawn in bosses 60 times on the opening weekends. Yes, there will be a similar thing for humans, where we will, when you are getting your smite party for your faction, we will give you your buffs and your blood, if you are a human there. So, factionless, we're just gonna, there's only 60 ya. If you're human and factionless, we'll just handle ya day one. But we'll be doing some smite parties to try and get, hopefully, everybody, all of their faction-specific smites pre-season, just so it's not something that we have to do literally 500 times opening weekend. So.
And also, if I see one of you pick up the items from the boss, we will also smite you. Just a fair warning.
Do
not touch the boss items.
You'll just get to be a loser.
Yeah. That means no free Onyx tier if you get lucky. I doubt it. I don't think any of the unlocks actually will drop the tier. You never know.
If you're at work during the smite parties, we will work with you to make sure that you get it at some point during the first week. Just open a ticket when you're online, and an admin will come will come steal you away. We're gonna try and get everybody them in the first week. We just want to get the bulk of it out of the way pre-season, just because we're gonna have a lot of things, and then I'm sure there will be a shit ton of tickets for no reason on day one. So we want to minimize that as much as possible by getting things done ahead of time. If you log in for the smite party, you are only permitted to be in the crypts and to be teleported to Admin Island, and vice versa. If we catch you logged out in Farbane because you decided to run around for some fucking reason, you're gonna get in trouble about it. So please don't abuse the smite party. Do not be a place you are not supposed to be. Thank you.
Also, yes, you may obviously pretend to be a human. There's nothing wrong with that. Have fun.
I thought you looked pale!
Yeah, it's okay.
Your human characters can also pretend to be a vampire. Have fun.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you'll be very successful, but you can certainly try.
Those 186 tickets are not including the 73 whitelists. It's been a busy week.
Is there a limit to
an official limit to what you can have built on your plot, but if I walk by your plot and my very nice computer shits itself because you decided to have 4,000 candles in your castle, we're going to ask you to take away some of them. So while we won't have like official, you can only have 9 chairs and 12 candles, if your castle's causing lag for other people on the server, we will tell you no. We will not be giving free spawned items. You may occasionally have NPCs that are like a piano salesman or something, and you will have to trade for it, but we're not just going to willy-nilly spawn you items. You can put in clip requests. We'll have more information about that when they open. But we will not just be filling item spawn requests. You gotta earn them through RP.
Or, admin assisted event.
Mm-hmm.
That is technically a way.
Yeah, faction capes will be given to you during the Smite party. Whether that's an everybody Smite party or a just you Smite party. Party will have rave lights.
Yes,
and
they
rave
will.
lights are the red as we kill you all to get you off of Admin Island.
Oh. Yeah. Any other pressing questions? Are you excited? You looking forward to any of our events that we're gonna do? We're gonna try and fit as many as we can within reason. And no, they won't all be combat events.
Open it, take it. We'll talk about it. If you're new to the community, please make sure you check through the mod guide when it comes out so you know what you're doing. We will post one. It'll be lots of handy commands and all that good stuff, and the stipulations on using Force Spell. We also, what was the change we made to Force Spell? There was one.
Oh dear. I know there's AoE.
Yeah.
AoE capped at 2.
So in the past, you were only able to use 2 defensive spells. So if you had Cold Snap and like Ward of the Damned, you couldn't also put up like another counter. You could only have 2 at a time. You can now only have 2 AoEs. You cannot have 4 AoEs and spam them so people can literally never move. So please keep that in mind. We will be a little bit stricter about bonking people for meta builds as well this season. So please build a build that makes sense for your character and is not V-Sweat, Spear, Q, Cold Lock, Stun Hell. Please. Be good.
That is correct. They still only apply to PvP. Regarding weapon caps, AoE. Now, I personally keep those restrictions even in PvE, but it enhances your experience. But you do not have to if you really don't want to. You can, of course, as always, agree upon mutually, either in duels or in warbats, to get rid of the caps as well. But that needs to be strictly agreed upon. Open world will always follow the standard rules.
Mm-hmm. I did see someone ask about the 3 weapons. By and large, people wanted to keep the 3 weapon limit.
Women?
Women. So that is not something that will be changes. Okay. That's enough for me. I'm lemon women. 3 lemon women. I don't see any more questions, and it has been an hour, so I'm gonna end there so I can go eat fucking dinner. Wowman, thank you everybody for coming to the Whittle Baby meeting.